The Beverly Hillbillies brought joy and laughter to millions of viewers, but behind the scenes, things weren't always as rosy. Nancy Kulp, known for her role as the prim and proper Miss Jane Hathaway, and Buddy Ebsen, who played the charming Jed Clampett, shared a working relationship that was far from harmonious. For years, fans have speculated about the source of their tension. Was it their clashing personalities? Their opposing political views? Or was there something deeper at play? In this video, we'll dive into their complex relationship and uncover the real reasons behind the friction. From heated disagreements to headline-grabbing moments, we're uncovering the truth behind one of TV's most surprising feuds. Stay tuned, you might never see the Beverly Hillbillies the same way again. Who is Nancy Kulp? Nancy Jane Kulp is a name synonymous with her unforgettable role as Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly Hillbillies. With her impeccable comedic timing and endearing portrayal of the straight-laced secretary, Kulp became a beloved figure in television history. But beyond the laughs and hijinks of the Clampett clan, Kulp's life story is one of intellect, patriotism, and trailblazing success. From her beginnings in journalism to cementing her place in television history, Nancy Kulp's journey was pretty darn dynamic. Born on August 28, 1921 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Nancy Kulp was the only child of Robert Tilden and Marjorie C. Kulp. Her father worked as a traveling salesman, and her mother was a dedicated educator who rose to the rank of school principal. This upbringing instilled in Kulp a love of learning and a drive to excel. The family eventually relocated to Miami, Florida, a move that would play a pivotal role in shaping her future. Kulp attended Florida State College for Women, now Florida State University. She graduated in 1943 with a bachelor's degree in journalism. Her passion for words and storytelling led her to pursue graduate studies in English and French at the University of Miami. While pursuing her education, Kulp displayed a flair for writing and a knack for connecting with people. She joined the Pi Beta Phi sorority and began contributing articles to the Miami Beach Tropics newspaper. There she profiled notable figures of the time, including Hollywood legend Clark Gable and the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Her work as a journalist not only showcased her intelligence, but also demonstrated her ability to capture the essence of a story. These were all skills that would later enhance her acting career. When World War II broke out, Kulp's life took a dramatic turn. In 1944, she made the selfless decision to put her studies on hold and join the U.S. Naval Reserve. She trained rigorously and quickly rose to the rank of lieutenant, junior grade. Her assignments included duties that required precision and discipline, attributes she embodied wholeheartedly. Kulp's service earned her several commendations, including the American Campaign Medal. She served with pride and dignity, contributing to the war effort in a way that was both meaningful and impactful. Her time in the Navy was a formative experience. It showed her resilience and ability to adapt to challenging circumstances. She was honorably discharged in 1946. She carried with her the values of discipline and service that would shape her career and personal life. After the war, Kulp returned to her studies and completed her graduate education. But her path took a surprising turn when she decided to pursue a career in acting. Encouraged by her husband, Kulp relocated to Hollywood. Though her marriage would end in divorce in 1961, her move to California marked the beginning of a remarkable career. Early career. Nancy Kulp's journey to stardom is as fascinating as the characters she portrayed throughout her career. While she is best known for her comedic talent and acting, her path to success in Hollywood was far from typical. In fact, Kulp didn't begin in front of the camera. Instead, she started behind the scenes at MGM's publicity department. There, she had a fortuitous encounter with a famous director set her on a new course toward becoming a household name. In the early stages of her career, Kulp worked in MGM's publicity department, handling the promotion of the studio's stars and films. It was during this time that she caught the attention of a legendary director. George Cukor, known for his work with major stars like Katharine Hepburn and Audrey Hepburn, saw something special in Kulp. He believed she had the potential to be more than just a behind-the-scenes figure, and he encouraged her to pursue acting. In 1951, Kulp made her film debut in The Model and the Marriage Broker, playing a small but memorable role. Although she was just getting started, it was clear that Kulp had an innate ability to portray unique, quirky characters. This would become her signature in Hollywood. Her comedic timing and natural charm made her an asset on screen, and she quickly became a sought-after character actress. Following her debut, Kulp's film career flourished. She appeared in several significant films from the early 1950s, including Shane, 1953. She also appeared in the beloved romantic comedy Sabrina, 1954, starring Audrey Hepburn, and in the acclaimed musical A Star is Born, 1954. Kulp wasn't afraid to take on different types of roles, and her performances showed her versatility as an actress. Her ability to bring humor and depth to her roles stood out. Whether playing a small-town woman or a sophisticated lady, Kulp brought a certain intelligence to her characters. By 1966, when she appeared in The Night of the Grizzly alongside Clint Walker, she had firmly established herself as a skilled actress in both dramatic and lighter roles. Kulp's transition into television was a pivotal moment in her career. In 1955, she joined the cast of The Bob Cummings Show, also known as Love That Bob, a popular sitcom that showcased her comedic talent. Kulp played Pamela Livingstone, a birdwatching neighbor who wore a pith helmet and brought a quirky, humorous flair to every scene. Her role in the show was a perfect fit for her ability to blend physical comedy with sharp wit, and it quickly made her a fan favorite. As her television career grew, Kulp appeared on many popular shows of the 1950s and 1960s. She became a familiar face to TV viewers, showing her range with both comedic and dramatic roles. One of her standout moments came in 1956 on I Love Lucy, where she played an English maid in the episode Lucy Meets the Queen. In this memorable scene, Kulp hilariously demonstrated how to curtsy properly for Queen Elizabeth. Her performance was a perfect example of her comedic timing. The episode remains a fan favorite and showcases Kulp's knack for playing characters that brought laughter and charm to the screen. In addition to I Love Lucy, Kulp also appeared on other classic shows like The Real McCoys, Perry Mason, and The Twilight Zone. On The Twilight Zone, she played Mrs. Gann in the episode The Fugitive. This was a role that showcased her ability to handle both eerie and emotionally charged material. One of Kulp's more memorable roles came in 1959 on the hit TV series Maverick. In the episode Full House, she played a slurring drunk waitress who interacts with James Garner's character. Her ability to play a flawed yet endearing character in a comedic setting was spot on. Kulp's portrayal added depth to what could have been a typical throwaway character, turning her into a memorable and standout moment in the episode. Throughout her career, Nancy Kulp developed a particular knack for portraying quirky, eccentric characters that left a lasting impression on audiences. Meet the Beverly Hillbillies. In 1962, after several years of TV appearances, Nancy Kulp took on the role of Miss Jane Hathaway in the Beverly Hillbillies. This was a show about a poor family from the Ozark Mountains who struck it rich after discovering oil on their land. They moved to the glamorous neighborhood of Beverly Hills, where they clash with their fancy new surroundings. The show, which ran on CBS from 1962 to 1971, became an instant hit and was a top-ranking program for much of its run. Nancy's character, Miss Jane, was the loyal, well-educated secretary of Mr. Drysdale, the president of the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills. While Jane was efficient and hard-working, she often found herself caught in the middle of Drysdale's greedy schemes. Despite his lack of appreciation, Jane stuck by him, and it was her genuine affection for the Clampett family that won her the audience's heart. Miss Jane Hathaway's relationship with the Clampetts was one of the most beloved aspects of the show. While Jane was often exasperated by the Clampetts' antics, they considered her part of the family. Even Granny, who was resistant to their new life in Beverly Hills, took a liking to her. For much of the series, Miss Jane harbors a soft spot for Jethro, making for some funny and endearing moments. Nancy Kulp's portrayal of Miss Jane Hathaway earned her recognition and acclaim. In fact, in 1967, she received an Emmy Award nomination for her performance. Playing the intelligent but often overlooked secretary, Kulp brought a mix of humor and vulnerability to the role. She created a character that fans found both hilarious and relatable. As Miss Jane, Kulp was in 246 episodes of The Beverly Hillbillies, making her one of the key members of the show's ensemble cast. The series itself became one of the most-watched television programs in the U.S. during its run, consistently ranking in the top 20. The Beverly Hillbillies was the #1 show for 2 years straight during its first 2 seasons, plus 16 of its episodes remain among the 100 most-watched TV episodes in American history. While the show was beloved by viewers, it wasn't without its challenges. In 1971, CBS decided to cancel The Beverly Hillbillies as part of a shift in programming towards more sophisticated urban-themed shows. This decision was part of a larger trend in the network's programming, famously referred to as the rural purge. While this marked the end of an era for rural comedies, the impact of The Beverly Hillbillies would live on. Although the show ended in 1971, Miss Jane Hathaway remained an unforgettable character. In 1999, TV Guide even ranked Jane Hathaway as number 38 on its list of 50 greatest TV characters of all time. Fans continued to appreciate the quirky, loyal secretary who always put others before herself. Miss Jane's dedication to the Clampetts and her unique blend of intelligence and charm made her a standout in the sitcom world. The Beverly Hillbillies might have been canceled after 274 episodes, but its legacy has remained strong. The show went into syndication, and its popularity continues to this day. Despite its cancellation, The Beverly Hillbillies was a game-changer in TV history. Nancy Kulp's role as Miss Jane Hathaway helped make it one of the most memorable sitcoms of all time. The series is still cherished by fans of all ages, thanks to its quirky humor and unforgettable characters. For Nancy Kulp, the role of Miss Jane Hathaway marked a major turning point in her career. It cemented her place as one of television's most beloved character actresses. Her portrayal of Jane, the smart and dedicated secretary who stood by her friends no matter what, will always be a treasured part of TV history. So whether you're a fan of the Beverly Hillbillies or just getting to know Miss Jane Hathaway, one thing is for sure. Nancy Kulp's portrayal of this iconic character left a lasting impression on television. A little about Ebsen. Buddy Ebsen went from a small town in Florida to becoming a TV legend, one full of surprises and challenges. Born in Belleville, New Jersey, and later moving to Orlando, Florida, Ebsen's love for dancing started early. His father, a dance studio owner, introduced Buddy and his sister Vilma to the world of dance. This early exposure to the performing arts sparked a lifelong passion in Ebsen. By the time he graduated from high school, Ebsen's ambitions were clear. He was destined for Broadway. His talent soon led him to form a popular dance duo known as the Baby Astairs, alongside his sister. Their performances quickly gained attention and rave reviews, which opened doors to even bigger opportunities in Hollywood. Ebsen's big break came when he appeared in MGM films like Born to Dance and Captain January. His charismatic presence and impressive dance moves earned him steady roles in film. However, it was his involvement in The Wizard of Oz that took an unexpected turn. Originally cast as the Tin Man, Ebsen's career took a dramatic pause when he developed serious health problems from the toxic makeup used for the role. His reaction to the makeup was so severe that he had to leave the film, and Jack Haley was brought in as his replacement. Although this was a huge setback, Ebsen didn't let it stop him. Instead of giving up, he transitioned to television, where he became a household name. His role as Jed Clampett in the Beverly Hillbillies cemented his place in pop culture history. Playing the lovable, oil-rich mountain man, Ebsen brought humor and warmth to the character, making it one of TV's most memorable roles. However, despite the success of the show, his time on set wasn't always smooth sailing. Ebsen didn't always see eye to eye with his co-star Nancy Kulp, especially on political issues, which created tension behind the scenes. Yet, through every challenge, whether it was health problems, difficult co-stars, or changing industries, Buddy Ebsen's resilience and passion never wavered. His ability to adapt and continue working in Hollywood and television proved that with determination, anything is possible. From Broadway to the big screen and later TV, Buddy Ebsen's legacy remains a testament to hard work, talent, and the power of perseverance. After the Hillbillies. Once the Beverly Hillbillies ended in 1971, Nancy Kulp didn't sit back and relax. She continued to be active in the entertainment world, making guest appearances on popular TV shows like Sanford and Son. Like many actors in the later years of their careers, Nancy also appeared on the hit shows The Love Boat and Fantasy Island. These shows were known for featuring a wide variety of guest stars, but her talents weren't limited to TV roles. In the early 1980s, Nancy performed on Broadway in the play Mornings at 7. This marked a new chapter in her career, where she showcased her range as a performer on stage. Despite her success in showbiz, Nancy had a deep passion for politics. This interest had begun back in 1952 when she supported Adlai Stevenson's presidential campaign. In 1984, after years of involvement with Pennsylvania's Democratic State Committee, Nancy decided to take a bold step. At the age of 62, she ran for Congress in Pennsylvania's 9th District. It was an uphill battle. The district was heavily Republican, and Nancy was up against the popular six-term incumbent, Bud Shuster. While she may have been an underdog, Nancy believed that her experience listening to people and caring about their issues could make a real difference. Kind of like Ronald Reagan, who had transitioned from acting to politics. Despite all of her efforts, Nancy did not win the election. She lost by a significant margin, receiving only 33.6% of the votes. While she claimed to be fine with the loss, it was a tough blow, especially after all the hard work and the personal attacks she had to endure. Following the defeat, Nancy left Pennsylvania to clear her head and visit friends in California. Even though Nancy didn't make it in politics, she didn't let that setback stop her. Instead, she focused on her love for teaching and returned to Pennsylvania. There she served as an artist-in-residence at a small liberal arts college. She also taught acting classes, helping to mentor the next generation of performers before retiring from acting. Nancy didn't leave the world of entertainment completely behind. She continued to serve on the board of the Screen Actors Guild, SAG, where she worked to support the rights of actors. Her passion for the arts and for helping others remained strong, even as she settled into her later years. In 1989, Nancy Kulp gave an interesting interview about her sexual orientation. She addressed the topic with grace and humor. When asked about her views on relationships, she used a metaphor she was familiar with. She said, "Do you think that opposites attract? My own reply would be that I'm the other sort. I find that birds of a feather flock together." While she didn't fully come out in the interview, she didn't shy away from acknowledging her own experiences. Nancy also expressed admiration for gay Congressman Barney Frank and made it clear that if she had been outed, she would not have denied it. She had a way of handling tough topics with an ease that matched her on-screen persona. Nancy Kulp's life after the Beverly Hillbillies was one of exploration and service, with her acting career paving the way for her contributions to politics, education, and activism. While she may not have achieved everything she set out to do in politics, her passion for serving others and making a difference was clear. Betrayal. One of the reasons for her loss in politics was reportedly linked to her strained relationship with her co-star, Buddy Ebsen. Nancy Kulp and Buddy Ebsen were as different as oil and water, a dynamic that led to one of the most talked-about feuds in television history. Kulp, who played the buttoned-up and loyal Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly Hillbillies, was an educated and refined woman. Their clashing personalities were evident from the start, and it didn't take long for sparks to fly. Ebsen's easygoing, joking nature stood in stark contrast to Kulp's more serious and intellectual demeanor. On set, Ebsen was known for his dry humor and offhand remarks, which many of the cast found harmless. But Kulp wasn't one to laugh off comments she felt were inappropriate or dismissive. Reports suggest she often found Ebsen's humor grating, if not downright offensive. Her frustration only deepened as their working relationship progressed. Despite these early tensions, both actors were consummate professionals. Their characters' dynamic remained one of the highlights of the Beverly Hillbillies. Miss Jane Hathaway's unrequited love for Jed Clampett brought both humor and heart to the series. It made it hard for fans to imagine the animosity simmering behind the scenes. While personality differences can create tension, introducing politics into the mix was like throwing gasoline on an open flame. Kulp leaned liberal, holding progressive views that clashed with Ebsen's staunchly conservative stance. Their differing ideologies often led to heated exchanges on set, with Ebsen's offhand political remarks striking a nerve with Kulp. For other cast members, Ebsen's quips might have been easy to ignore, but for Kulp, they hit a personal chord. The more Ebsen joked, the more Kulp reportedly felt alienated. Their disagreements, once contained to minor personality clashes, began to take on a sharper, more combative edge. The tension reached a boiling point in 1984 when Kulp ran for Congress in Pennsylvania as a Democrat. Her campaign was a bold move, and it reflected her commitment to making a difference beyond the screen. However, her decision put her directly in the crosshairs of Ebsen, who strongly opposed her political views. Ebsen voiced his opposition during her campaign, which added to the tension between the two. Ebsen recorded a radio ad supporting her Republican opponent, which contributed to their public discord. "Hey, Nancy's a good actress," Ebsen said in the ad, "but I don't think she'd be good in Congress." The public jab not only humiliated Kulp, but also cemented their feud in the annals of Hollywood drama. For Kulp, Ebsen's actions felt like a personal betrayal. In interviews years later, she admitted how deeply it hurt to see a former colleague go to such lengths to undermine her. The radio ad wasn't just a political statement. It was a public airing of their discord, ensuring their relationship would never recover. Ebsen didn't shy away from discussing the feud in later years. He described Kulp as humorless and difficult to work with, a characterization that was at odds with how many others viewed her. His laid-back demeanor earned him fans on and off screen, but it also likely contributed to the friction between him and Kulp, whose no-nonsense attitude left little room for his brand of humor. Kulp, for her part, was equally candid about their strained relationship. In a 1989 interview, she didn't hold back, admitting that she and Ebsen didn't get along and were diametrically opposed in every way. She attributed much of their conflict to their political differences. Kulp suggested that their feud was less about personality and more about clashing values. Despite their differences, Kulp remained professional throughout her career. She never let her personal feelings toward Ebsen affect her work on the Beverly Hillbillies. So fans would never have guessed that the actors playing Miss Jane and Jed Clampett were anything but friendly co-stars. This ability to separate personal conflicts from professional responsibilities is a testament to Kulp's character and dedication to her craft. The feud between Nancy Kulp and Buddy Ebsen continues to fascinate fans because it's a reminder of the human side of Hollywood. Behind the polished performances and iconic characters, actors are just people. They all have their own quirks, conflicts, and imperfections. Ebsen's public campaign against Kulp during her congressional run added an extra layer of drama. It made their feud one of the more unusual stories in television history. Personal life and her final years. Nancy Kulp's life story is a reminder that a person's legacy isn't just defined by the roles they play on screen, but also by the way they live their life off-screen. She is most famously remembered for her portrayal of Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly Hillbillies. However, her later years were filled with meaningful work and service that showcased her dedication to her community, her passions, and the causes she cared about deeply. After retiring from acting, Nancy Kulp chose to step out of the public eye and focus on a quieter, more personal life. She first settled on a farm in Connecticut before eventually moving to Palm Springs, California. There, she embraced a lifestyle that involved much more than the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. In Palm Springs, she found peace and fulfillment in giving back to others. Nancy became deeply involved in various charity organizations. She poured her energy into causes that aligned with her values. She supported the Humane Society of the Desert, helping to advocate for animal welfare in the area. She was also active in the Desert Theater League, contributing her time and talents to the arts community in the region. Additionally, Nancy worked with United Cerebral Palsy. This showed her commitment to helping those with disabilities and improving their quality of life. Through her charity work, Nancy continued to touch lives, demonstrating that her heart was as big as her talent. Though Nancy had spent many years living a healthy lifestyle and staying active in her community, the years took their toll on her body. She had been a smoker for much of her life, which ultimately contributed to her health problems. In 1990, Nancy was diagnosed with cancer, a diagnosis that would change the course of her final years. Despite her diagnosis, Nancy faced her illness with the same strength and dignity that she had shown throughout her life. She underwent chemotherapy in an attempt to fight the disease, but by 1991, the cancer had spread. Unfortunately, Nancy's battle with cancer was short-lived. On February 3, 1991, she passed away at the age of 69 in Palm Desert, California. Her death marked the end of a life filled with passion, dedication, and love for others. Nancy Kulp's funeral was held at Westminster Presbyterian Cemetery in her hometown of Mifflintown, Pennsylvania. She was laid to rest among her family and close friends, a final resting place that reflected her roots and the life she had built. While Nancy's passing was a great loss, her legacy lives on through the countless people she impacted during her lifetime. Her contributions to the arts, her work with charitable organizations, and her efforts to make a difference in the lives of others all form an important part of the legacy she left behind. Nancy Kulp may have been a beloved TV star, but she was also so much more than that. She was an educator, a volunteer, and a passionate advocate for the causes she believed in. She lived a life that was as full of heart as it was of accomplishments. One of the most poignant aspects of Nancy Kulp's later years was her strained relationship with the Beverly Hillbillies co-star Buddy Ebsen. Their political differences had caused a deep rift between the two. But time has a way of healing wounds, even the deepest ones. In the years following Nancy's death, Buddy Ebsen privately expressed regret for his actions. He publicly acknowledged that he was wrong to involve himself in her political campaign. He admitted that his endorsement of her opponent, who called her too liberal, was a mistake. Their reconciliation underscored the importance of letting go of past hurts and learning to forgive. It also highlighted the fact that even in times of conflict, people can still find peace and healing. While Nancy Kulp will forever be known to audiences as the sweet and efficient Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly Hillbillies, her life was much more than a sitcom role. She was a woman of great substance, and her contributions to the world went far beyond her acting career. She was a dedicated teacher, a passionate political advocate, and a tireless volunteer who gave of herself to better the lives of others. Nancy's story teaches us that life is full of opportunities to make a difference, and that one's legacy is not just defined by their work, but it is also by their actions in the world around them. It also shows us that it's never too late to find forgiveness, pursue new passions, or give back to the world in meaningful ways. Nancy Kulp's life was one of service, resilience, and love. Well, there you have it. The story of Nancy Kulp and Buddy Ebsen has finally been laid out, shedding light on why their relationship on the Beverly Hillbillies wasn't as friendly as fans may have thought. While the show itself was full of laughs, it turns out that behind the scenes, Nancy Kulp wasn't a fan of Buddy Ebsen, and now we understand more about what went on. It wasn't just about the roles they played, but also some personal differences that made working together tough. Nancy Kulp was an incredibly talented actress, but she had her reasons for disliking Buddy Ebsen. Whether it was personality clashes, the way they were treated on set, or something else entirely, it adds a layer of complexity to the otherwise fun, light-hearted series. But sometimes, that's just how it goes in show business, right? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating stories from Hollywood's past. See you next time as we uncover even more secrets from the world of entertainment.